This is a synopsis of Rachel Richards' book, Money Honey: 7 Easy Steps to Get Your Finances Under Control. The main idea is that learning how to manage money is something you can do at any time. You can get peace of mind and financial security by learning how to handle your money. Let's examine the tale of Rachel Richards, a prosperous, self-made lady who attributes her success to wise financial practices. At 11 years old, Rachel started reading financial books to understand about finance. Later on, she earned a master's degree in financial economics without taking out any student debts. Rachel went on to work as a financial advisor after graduating. She is now a passionate investor, entrepreneur, and personal finance specialist who is frequently consulted for financial guidance. Learning about finance doesn't have to be laborious. Change can always be made at any time. Naturally, starting to save in your 20s yields a higher return than starting to save in your 40s. The trick is to start doing it someplace at any time. However, putting aside a percentage of your monthly income is neither the best nor the only strategy to accumulate wealth. Fortunately, financial literacy can be acquired at any age. To change your behaviors, all you need is perseverance and bravery. You'll see that you can live debt-free in a matter of minutes. You will discover how to determine your golden number and net worth. Furthermore, you will no longer be confused about the fundamentals of stock trading or the ideal circumstances for obtaining a credit card. That is fascinating, isn't it? Let's examine this subject in more detail. The second key aspect is to evaluate your financial status and make a plan for the future. To determine your golden number, start creating a budget. You might be wondering what this is. The amount that is accessible to you after all expenses have been subtracted is represented by the golden number. How to calculate? On a piece of paper, write your monthly income after taxes. Calculate how much money you spend on each aspect of your life by classifying your spending. Remember to include in subscriptions, gifts, donations, transportation expenses, and more. In the absence of precise figures, estimate the amounts. Including an extra sum to cover any unpaid monthly fees is also beneficial. Total up your costs. Take this sum out of your paycheck each month. There is a golden number in the difference. What should you do next, and why do you need this number? Make sure your golden number is positive first, then try to raise it. The more you can save, the better. Rachel Richards' website offers free budgeting worksheets for your calculations. After then, begin monitoring these costs over the course of the following few months in an effort to learn more about your shopping habits. You'll be able to identify areas where you're overspending once you begin analyzing your expenditures by category. The next step is to establish a budget objective. Spending less, no matter how little it may seem, is the key in every aspect of life. Try putting a limit on your spending if you have trouble going overboard and losing sight of your financial objectives. You can cultivate a positive relationship with money by being truthful with yourself about your financial situation. Fascinating information. A recent Federal Reserve study found that 40% of Americans cannot afford a $400 unexpected bill. This startling figure demonstrates the pervasiveness of financial instability. Fortunately, you can stay out of this alarming statistic. Let's talk about how to prepare for the future and create a financial buffer. Third key point, make 4 categories out of your savings. It may surprise you to learn that your assets are composed of 2 financial building blocks: cash and cash equivalents, which are tangible and intangible resources with economic worth; royalties, copyrights, bonds, and real estate, among other things. Reducing your obligations to other people loans, debts, mortgages, and similar obligations. To put it briefly, wealth is increased by assets and decreased by liabilities. It's critical that we determine your net worth before moving forward. Here is a straightforward formula for calculating your net worth, assets, and obligations. To maintain financial control, perform these computations on a regular basis. Continuous compound interest is something you should try if you want your money to work for you. To put it simply, you can put money into an account that will increase in value over time. Everything will alter with the next tip. Divide your savings among several accounts to keep them organized. Arrange them according to market liquidity or the speed at which an asset can be turned into cash. The first pot is an emergency reserve. Set aside a minimum of $1 for unforeseen circumstances. Keep this sum in cash or ensure that you can quickly turn it into cash if needed. In this case, interest rates are irrelevant. First, fill this bucket. Pot number 2, savings for the medium term. No more than a year. If you lose your job, this account gives you stability. Saving 3 to 6 times your monthly living expenditures is a good idea. If you intend to make a larger purchase, you can also use the second pot. The stock market is not a good fit for medium-term savings objectives because of its low liquidity. Instead, pick a high-interest account. Pot number 3, savings focused on the future. It's time to move on to the third pot after the account holding your medium-term savings has enough money. The money saved here can be used for a number of things, such as a large wedding or the purchase of a home. It would be wise to invest this money in the stock market because you won't need it for years. The fourth pot is the retirement provision. You should open an IRA account in order to begin saving. Use a different retirement account or deposit money into one. You will be contributing to retirement savings for the remainder of your life because they demand a far higher amount than the other pots. Fourth key point, make sure you avoid taking on debt. Debt reduces your future earnings and puts undue strain on you. However, student loans are one kind of debt that very few people are able to escape. Thankfully, there are strategies to lessen this financial strain. Prior to college, congratulations if you're among the fortunate few who can earn a living doing what you love. If you haven't done that yet, though, it's preferable to concentrate on making ends meet while pursuing your interests. You may devote time and resources to realizing your greatest aspirations if you have a strong financial foundation. Following college, select a private consolidation option if you wish to combine your debts. You can receive a lower interest rate in this manner. Being a parent, the 529 plan is a good option if you wish to save money for your child's college expenses. To give the money time to grow, it is important to start early. In the unlikely event that your child chooses not to attend college, there is a potential drawback to having to modify the beneficiary. If the funds are taken out and not used for your education, you can be subject to fines or tax repercussions. Being debt-free is the only way to lower your obligations. Avoid taking out new loans to settle existing ones. A mortgage is another infamous offender that may increase your debt. If you have to take out a mortgage, it's best to go with a short-term one. You will accumulate equity in the form of your property faster and be debt-free sooner. You should consider if you intend to stay in the home for at least 5 years before making a purchase. If so, it makes sense to buy a property. You might want to rethink your buying choice, though, if you don't intend to stay there for that long. If you sell your property too soon, you might lose money on fees and commissions. Other typical credit types. 2. Mortgages cash advances, business loans, customer loans, or short-term, high-interest loans that cover the difference between paychecks. Financing for a life insurance policy. Policy loan from the retirement fund. Key point 5. Avoid making hasty investments. On the stock market, people can purchase and sell stocks and bonds. Ownership shares in businesses are represented by stocks. Please be aware that while stocks have more potential rewards, there is also greater risk involved. Additionally, they provide limitless potential benefits and limited possible risks. Promissory notes in which you are the lender are called bonds. They provide lower returns than stocks since they are less volatile. To lower risks, diversify your financial portfolio. For investment, there are 4 golden rules. When the market is down, fight the overpowering temptation to sell your investments. The market inevitably rises at some point. When the market declines, it's the ideal time to make inexpensive purchases. You have the opportunity to sell when stock prices increase. The lowest risks and expenses are associated with long-term investments. Generally speaking, you should keep your shares for a minimum of 1 year. After completing a transaction, put it out of your mind and resume your daily activities. Examining your portfolio twice a year is plenty because investing shouldn't become stressful. According to Rachel Richards, selling your equities during a market downturn is the worst thing an investor can do. Domestic and international stocks and bonds come in 3 varieties, both domestically in your native country and globally in every other country. Rachel Richards offers advice on investing for a range of age groups. The following portfolio should be taken into consideration if you are a novice investor between the ages of 35 and 45, 15% domestic small-cap companies. Opportunities for larger returns are presented by stocks with smaller market capitalizations. 20% are domestic mid-cap stocks. Finding a balance between risk and profit might be aided by mid-cap stocks. 35% are large-cap domestic equities. You will thus get a consistent dividend stream. 10% of bonds are domestic. This investment has a fixed return and is less risky. 20% of the stock mix is international or global. A greater variety of businesses and marketplaces are available with this investment. For those under 35, the allocation might look like this: 25% of domestic small-cap equities. 25% of mid-cap stocks are homegrown. 25% are large-cap domestic equities. 25% of the stock mix is international or global. High-risk investments should be avoided if you're getting close to retirement. As a result, you should avoid investing in small-cap enterprises. Investing in large-cap stocks and more bonds is your best option. Alternatively, you might begin selling your stocks and gradually convert to cash. Alternative investing choices exist in commodities, hedge funds, real estate, cryptocurrency, and other areas, but they are riskier and more volatile. The 6th key idea is that retirement can and ought to be lovely. Your expenses rise as you age, so having a sound financial plan is essential. But a lot of individuals are unaware of the true meaning of retirement. You don't quit your job because it's your turn, you're old, or you're incompetent. Perhaps you ought to reconsider your retirement plan and begin modifying your strategy right away. What would happen if we informed you that you could retire early? For early savings, there are 2 fundamental prerequisites. Sources of passive income. Saving money for after work is something you can do at any time. There are 2 common ways to save money: an individual retirement plan, or IRA, and a 401k account, which is a savings plan that most US businesses offer. There is no need for employer assistance. Therefore, you can create this account on your own. What you need know about a K account is as follows. Many employers contribute the same amount or less, which amounts to free money. Make use of it as frequently as you can. For some employee groups, there are additional employer-sponsored B457 plans available. You can continue access your K retirement savings account even if you quit your job. If you'd like, you can leave things alone. Transferring funds from a K account to an individual retirement IRA account is the wisest course of action, nevertheless. Consider your Iraq account as a way to improve the clarity and predictability of your far-off future. However, depending only on savings might not be the best approach. It may take decades to accumulate sufficient savings depending on your income. Furthermore, you might not be able to maintain your existing standard of living if you quit your job. Passive income is useful in this situation. It is possible to work hard now and see your income rise later. You could write a book or record an album, for instance. It will require some labor to create and market your artwork, but the rewards will be long-lasting. There are alternative ways to make passive income if you're not creative. For instance, investing in real estate can help you amass enormous quantities of money. Crucial point, 7th, for financial stability, arrange your taxes and buy insurance. Regulations pertaining to taxes are always changing. Since it is your responsibility to make sure that you only pay what is necessary by law, you should be aware of this. What you should anticipate moving ahead is that your adjusted gross income, or AGI for short, is equal to your gross income less the exact adjustments to which you are entitled. Once you have your AGI, you may determine your gross tax burden by applying the appropriate tax rate. Tax credits must be subtracted from your total tax liability. Compare the numbers and take a look at the amount withheld from the prior year. Check to see whether you have any debts to the government. However, if you overpaid taxes, you might be eligible for a refund. You must complete a new W form if you wish to change the amount that your employer deducts from your paycheck. You are in charge of withholding your own taxes, though, if you work for yourself. In the United States, taxes increase in proportion to income. Life insurance is not necessary if you are single and do not have to provide for anyone financially. However, life insurance can be your loved one's safety net if they rely on your income. Term life insurance, for instance, is superior to whole life insurance since it is less expensive and typically more pertinent, even though it only offers financial security for a specific amount of time. For instance, you won't need life insurance after your kids are grown and independent of you financially. Rachel Richards. The level of living you wish to guarantee for your loved ones should be reflected in the quantity of insurance you purchase. Getting insurance is wise if you have dependents, but it's not always necessary. You are the only one who can determine if you have enough money to give your loved ones financial stability. In conclusion, once you begin to pay enough attention to your finances, managing them becomes simple. In addition to all the automation tips that can help you save money on the items you desire, there are a number of tools that can help you make this work even simpler. Being aware of where to begin is usually beneficial. Make your money tangible first. Determine how much money you have left over after making all necessary payments by doing a monthly audit of your resources. Above all, don't be too hard on yourself if after a month you're not a financial whiz. It takes time and effort to learn how to effectively manage your finances and make them work for you, but it is undoubtedly possible. Success is not solely determined by the numbers on your calculator. There are other factors as well. Writing down your spending, sharing your goal with others, and asking them to support it, finding someone to hold you accountable when necessary, and finally, praising yourself when you achieve your goals are all necessary for success. It always pays to choose what's most important over what you want right now, even if you feel like you have to restrict yourself a lot. Your strength will eventually translate into financial independence. Interesting stuff to try. Put all of your spending in writing first. You'll discover that you're overspending. You will learn more about financial management and be able to save more money as a result. Next, determine your golden number and attempt to raise it as soon as it starts to grow. Get your emergency pot filled. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and feel free to try another channel overview.